Hello and welcome to the new series of DBSOG's reviews. It's just a new, okay. So we do them. Fuck. Hello and welcome to the new series of DBSOG's big climatic reviews, whatever the bloody hell that we're calling these. So we're going to start as we did last year in September. We do the whole year, but you guys hate us. Today we're starting with something very close to me, the Grand Tour. I say we, it's more like me, I. So for those who are clueless, the Grand Tour is one of the phoenixes born of the ashes of a certain TV program, Top Gear. For those of you again who are completely out of the freaking picture here, after a certain incident, Jerry Clarkson left the employ of the BBC, followed soon after by co-hosts James and Richard. A few months passed and it was announced that Amazon would be releasing a car show featuring the Top Gear gang. Meanwhile, on BBC, Top Gear had started with Chris fucking Evans, Matt LeBlanc, some racing experts, Sabine Schmidt, a YouTube car reviewer and some other bloke. I wonder which one was more popular. Here's a hint. Only 3 hosts stayed and Chris Evans wasn't one of them. 2 seasons later, they announced that there was a video game for Grand Tour. Finally, a Top Gear game. Well, Grand Tour game, but you get the idea. So, the game has 2 modes, single player and local split screen. FYI, there is no online multiplayer because, I don't know, there just isn't. So, the story, you have a choice of 3 series. Series 1 and 2, which only have 1 episode each, which really sucks, and to be honest, I think they should have added the whole series if they were going to come out with a game. But they didn't, so here we are. Whereas Series 3 has all 13 episodes, which were released as they came out. They came out on the Prime platform. This is because, again, obviously, it could be that they couldn't be bothered or that they didn't have much time to program the levels because it was released pretty much maybe a couple of months after they announced it. Okay, so with the episodes you get to do a series of challenges. So you go through drag racing, drifting, racing, accelerating, dragging, taking pictures and exploring. Normally there's a time score that you have to manage or an amount of points that you have to get up to. These are also then ranked by gold, silver, bronze and flunk. Now, unfortunately, I can't actually show you the story missions because they actually contain clips from the show, and the game itself stops the recording, like pretty much every game these days apparently. So I'm going to do some local split screen while showing you this shit. Okay, so the way the story works is that you get access to the different episodes. You then get to do the different challenges as previously mentioned. So what happens is, I don't know, for example, the first episode, you gain access to the cars that they use. So that's the Ferrari, LaFerrari, the Rimac, or was that the second series? I can't remember. And whatever car Jeremy was using. You can tell I didn't really remember what car he was using. And you have to do the challenges that they undertake in the episode. So, as I said, I can't remember these off the top of my head, but you have to do the challenges that they have to take place. So, in the case of the Rimac missions, the one, I think it's the second series, you do the mission, you do the challenge where they have to do the hill climb, where Richard had his little accident in his Rimac. Which is actually quite cool because then you get the recording of the actual video of it happening. So it's not just like a pre-rendered cutscene that they've built, that they've made in the game engine. No. They actually put the clip from the show into the challenge, which is actually quite a nice thing that makes you feel like you're actually a part of the action. They will also pick the presenter you play. So in different challenges, you'll get to play as Abby, Rich. I say Abby because Abby is literally their Stig. Of course, it's not their Stig, and they can't call her the Stig because copyright. But however, in the case of this, you get Jeremy Clarkson, James May, Richard Hammond, and Abby Eaton. So that's what normally happens. But sometimes you also get a choice to pick the character you're playing. So you'll just give the cars driving along, and then you have to select the one by the time that the time runs out, and then you have to complete the challenge with that presenter. So yeah. Okay, so the local split screen is basically Mario Kart. To play, you pick your set of track, you select your items. So we're gonna go with hypercars. Gadgets are on because it's fun. Easy, fucking medium. So they're the same as me. So you pick your player and you pick your car. You pick whether you want gadgets on. So I'm gonna go in the dreaded Rimac Custom one. If anyone knows what I mean by this, yeah, that should give you a clue. Okay. So you pick your car, you pick your presenter, you select all your settings, and then you pick your tracks. In this particular version I picked Grand Prix. You can also pick just face off, where basically you just play against the opponent, one opponent for one race, and that's it. We'll do Dust Storm. So once you pick your track / championship, you then have to race as that character in whatever vehicle you've picked throughout the whole of the Grand Prix, if you've picked a Grand Prix, or just the race. As you can see in the right corner here, you also get power-ups. As I said, it's like Mario Kart. What happens is that when you pick up these balloons, as you see there, perfect image there, the silver balloons, you will get a power-up, a random power-up. And then you can use them. So far I've had Guy Fawkes, which is the firework one. I've had, this is going to be god-awful, I've had Guy Fawkes, which is fireworks. I've had texting. I've had musical idiots, which is basically, playing loud music at the opponent. You have Whippy Slurpy, which is basically an oil slick. Candy Fog, which is smoke. Texting, which I can't use because there's no one ahead of me right now. More Whippy Slurpy. Ah, we got some texting.
I'm not doing any racing. That's utterly pointless.
Okay, so let's get to the conclusion because it seems like I'm blabbering, and let's keep this short. So, we're looking at today the story, the gameplay, and the graphics. So, to begin, the story is a scene-by-scene of the show. So, to be honest, the only thing that you need to really look for is actually the gameplay itself in the story. So, this will be the different mechanics. So, you have fizz, so basically do exciting things. So, let's go fast, go around the corners, drifting, don't slow down, that sort of thing. You've got the speed one, so basically the more you accelerate, the more points you get. The more you drift, obviously. The time limits, that's a basic thing that you can do. But there are also different ones where you have to take pictures of things, which is kind of stupid, really. I really don't like those ones because it takes you completely out of the mechanics of the game. Others is where you've got to keep the acceleration that you're doing and the speed of which you are accelerating to a certain level, so you can drag something, which is actually quite a cool concept instead of just racing. But we'll leave that as it is. But some of them are being really asinine, so let's just leave that as. So I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 for that. Next, we have the gameplay. It's solid, the drifting is spot on, the cars are all different and feel different. The characters are fully voiced, which is actually quite funny when you get the characters shouting abuse at each other and shouting the various things that they're known for shouting. And the weapons are funny and very useful and pretty varied, to be honest, because the clips in this aren't doing it much justice, but you have teacups that you throw out, you have Guy Fawkes, which shuts out fireworks, you have phone calls, you have texts, you have boosts, you have lead balloons, you have all sorts of things that you can use to slow down and disrupt your opponents. So it's a 9 out of 10 for me. And of course, finally, if I can find the page, because it would be very nice, thank you. Christ almighty, should have done this. Finally, we have the graphics. It looks great. The character models are all the same, however, which is a bit annoying. They're always brown leather jackets, white shirt, helmet. Pardon me. All the maps are well made, and it doesn't look gorgeous, but it doesn't look crap. So basically, I would have preferred a little bit of an upgrade, considering there's very little variety in split screen and in story, except of course of the varied missions. But at the same time, I would have preferred it to be a little bit more cool looking. So a little help from Gran Turismo, but not so much. Maybe a bit of Need for Speed level. That's what I'm thinking. But nonetheless, it still looks brilliant. The cars look accurate. The world looks fleshed. Of course, obviously, if you go out of it, you'll crash and you won't be able to see much more of it. I guarantee the world map is very small. But the backdrops, pretty much on spot. So that's a 7 out of 10 for me. So it's a 24 out of 30. So, if you like an old school Top Gear, you'll love this game. And even if you don't, and like kart races, you'll still love it. So next time we get to get a bit graphic with Mortal Kombat 11. See you then.